That intro is too damn long. I'm going to have to find a shorter one. Hello, everybody. My name is Puppetine from the Geeky Puppet Show here on the Geeky Puppet Show. Today, for what? For what? What could it be? For The Flash! Yes, yes. And of course, to join me, it's episode 2 of season 8. But we have Froggy!
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the best show on earth.
No.
Well, you think we suck?
Oh, our show? Oh, I didn't know you were talking about our show. I thought you were talking about The Flash.
My statement still stands. It's like Ed Brewer. This show's great. It's gotten better. It's leveled up.
There are areas
seriously, it's gotten way better. This is the Flash we've been waiting since season 1.
Yeah, I am struggling to agree, but let's go ahead into the events. Thank you for showing up, everybody. And now, when we're talking about the show, basically what's happening in this episode is Despero is telling Barry, "Hey, you're going to destroy the Earth. I know. I'll see you in like 7 days." But it is a lie because he is mentally projecting himself and following Barry around as they're trying to figure out how to stop Despero. Alex makes a little cameo saying, "Oh, but we never heard of this alien," because that was necessary. But this going around with this, there is somebody in town. I can't. What's her name? What's her name?
Oh, the new psychic lady?
Mm-hmm.
Zoltra? Or Zora? Zolta?
Zora, Zortax, something like that. And she basically is making people lose their minds. Well, Barry goes to fight her.
Well, yeah, but before we get into that, he did ask what's his name? Reason why what would make him go betray all his friends. He says madness. Now on the scene, there's before he even confronts this person, he's called to his work, and he's basically told that he's basically been fired.
Yep.
Or is suspended because he was involved with something. And even though there's no evidence so he has to hand in his badge and all that stuff. And then, well, it's funny because the case he was reporting to, the code checkout. Apparently, the guard in there went crazy. He went mad. So that really basically let Barry know he needed to get in there no matter what and see the person. And so he eventually does. He goes. And when the guy's in the hospital, he faces through the wall, which is really cool because we haven't seen him do that in a while. Like I said, this has been Barry as power speaking has been great. The first episode of this season, my gosh, it's like somebody else took over for writing.
Yes, but there are elements of this that I do not care.
Quit nitpicking.
This isn't a nitpick. Okay. When we're talking about Barry, yes, he has significantly leveled up in power, which didn't really show in season 7 when they kept kicking his ass left and right. But here, they show him as, well, very powerful. But they're saying that his power is a bad thing, and it could lead to him losing his mind and going crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to say because one of the former seasons when he had the speed thinking, he got that's when he had artificial speed force. It wasn't the real speed force. He created artificial speed force. They caused him to lose his emotions, but he was much faster. They're afraid with this new speed force. He's attached to the speed force again, new connection, that he may go evil again. That's the reason. And he says, no, this is totally different. Which I agree with Barry.
No, I agree with Barry too.
Throughout this episode, even the last episode, he kept seeing Despero. Especially in this episode too. Despero probably, and only he can see him. This tells me right here that Despero's in his mind. Why would anybody trust Despero? Just comes out randomly nowhere and says, you're the reason why everything is destroyed.
Well, let's go ahead and get into that because towards the end of this episode, Despero says why he cares about Earth. He says basically his world was at war and what he did to try to save it, well, it worked, but it got him banished to Earth. And so he adopted Earth as his new home. And then he saw it wrecked by the Flash, so he says. But what I'm going to say is we need to petition or something to get rid of Allegra and Chester. Because Chester, unfortunately, in this episode just proves how ridiculously useless he is.
Yep.
And it's not anything towards the actor, no hate towards the actor. In fact, I enjoyed him in season 7 when he had Cisco around. But now that Cisco's around and they're trying to make him this new Cisco, they are just really bad.
Nope.
Because we have Killer Frost. She finally appears again. She goes to Chester afterwards and says, we need to be prepared for pretty much anything. But if Despero comes, I want you to make a weapon. You really need to make a weapon.
That can stop
so
him,
that
yeah.
we can fight against them.
And we get this whole little sad speech, by Chester saying, "Oh, I burned my friend's house down by building this little Star Trek ray gun, and ever since then I voted off building weapons."
Listen,
really, dude.
You have Allegra literally come into the room and say, "Hey, what you doing?" And he says, well, Killer Frost asked me to make a weapon." She says, "Yura," and he finishes with "pacifist." Like, this is something that goes ahead.
We're skipping ahead, though. We're skipping way ahead. Because the next thing that happens is that they get kicked out of Star Labs. There's a radiation leak. That Chester somehow didn't even notice. He just looked at the sensors. And this is what I mean. I don't believe any of this is real. Because what happens with Barry at the end, which really makes me think it's not real. The whole thing is that they wanted to tell you that he's crazy. I don't think Barry's going crazy at all. Like I said, I think it's Despero. When you have a psychic in the room, and he tells the emotion person, empathist, to shut up because she's a threat. He basically told her to go to sleep.
Yep.
I don't trust him at all. Sorry, and that's the thing. Barry is always going to be the hero. He's never going to be the villain. He's always going to be as we've seen this before. He's always pointed out to be the villain. This isn't the first time he's been accused of being a villain.
Third time?
Probably the third or fourth time. I can't remember. It's almost like a running joke now. So yeah, so Star Labs apparently has a huge, massive radiation leak spike level, something that hasn't been replaced. It's rusting apart. The city comes in, the army comes in, basically, and the quarantines out. They're gonna basically put a giant cement slab block over the dome over the whole Star Labs, kind of like they did with Chernobyl, or they tried to do with Chernobyl.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, and which is really dumb. Because how do you defeat the Flash? You take away his help.
No.
Yes.
No.
That's a CW thought, though. That's the thing. You take away Star Labs. But
see, and it's really dumb because in this episode.
But no, before you go any further. Remember the weapon that he was building? It's a radiation gun. So my thought is to Chester cause the radiation himself. Or why would he be building a radiation gun and the same time there's high levels of radiation inside Star Labs? Something's not adding up here. It's like he's in the Matrix.
So what I will say, what I will say is that I think there is something afoot, especially with the end, because we're seeing as whenever he goes to face this psychic lady, Zorro or Zora, whatever her name is, and he is going to attack. She uses her mind, little purple, and he starts crashing around the room. He makes the people that he works with start doubting him in that moment because he was.
Yeah, it's the first time he attacked him. Yeah, in his own apartment, he tore it up, and then they shot him with the gun, and they're afraid of him. And then the next time he puts her in handcuffs. Afterwards,
yeah,
apparently,
he gets her.
Yeah.
And you know how he gets her? I really want to talk about this because he is able to move his cells in a microscopic level enough to generate lightning, and he does just, and then it shoots out all over, getting Zora.
His name's not Zora. It's Zoltra or Zolta. Zoltor.
Zotor. Sure.
I think so.
Getting Zotor, and then she's put in meta handcuffs, and he heads back.
They said that everybody who, after she was handcuffed, her powers were negated. Everybody who was going crazy stopped. But the problem is that they say that Barry is confronted by crap. What is her name now? The one that was dating Joe.
Oh, Cecile.
Cecile basically gets a phone call and says, Barry, the Flash just was attacking people. And they show footage of us, on the news report and it's on TV. And Barry says, that's not true. I didn't do any of that. That's what I'm saying. I don't. They're really, really want you to make believe. Oh yeah, because we know as the fans watching it, the Flash is innocent.
Yeah.
If you think he's guilty, man, you need to go back under a rock.
As after he's confronted by Cecile a second time, because after he defeats Zoltar, whatever her name is, he goes and he says, you know what? I think I'm going to call Joe, have him whip us up some food, and get ready. And they're staring at him like, and he's like, "What? Would you like burgers and hot dogs instead?" And
yeah, it's not funny.
Joe's dead.
He's been dead for
the past 6 months.
Nope. Remember, I thought didn't he go into witness protection? And then came back out?
He came back out. Yeah, no, it was all fine at the end of the last season. Remember, he was at the wedding.
Yeah.
But, and he goes home and looks for Joe, and Iris and Cecile tells him, you're crazy, because he's been dead for the past 6 months. And they see the little placard that my face is on in the thumbnail, because the show kills me. And Barry runs away. Like he has to face what's his name, Despero first.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the fight doesn't happen because he just runs. Run, Barry, run, and that's what he does. And Despero's saying, "I will find you." He goes to, well,
the Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice, and guess who pops up?
Black Lightning.
Black Lightning.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And I listen. Black Lightning was not a perfect show, but I will go ahead and say that it was a lot better than most of these shows have been for most of its season.
Oh yeah. Also, Alex made an appearance on the show only via monitor because that's all we could afford. Yeah.
Because they don't have any information on Despero, so they wanted to go to the
right now this seems like a weak crossover because we haven't had anybody all together as a team yet.
But hopefully, maybe they can get Ray and Black Lightning and whoever else they have.
You know who's going to save the day, right?
Don't you dare say it, or I will fry you, frog.
I don't take kindly to threats, and let's just say it's going to be Bat-tastic.
Ah! Oh, jeez. Well,
she's the new Paragon. She's the new Paragon.
But here we are at the end because Black Lightning shows up and it's like, what's going on, Barry? And Barry looks at him and says, "Injustice." Dun dun dun. So we're going to have to look and see what's going to happen next week.
Ooh.
Overall, there is a lot of decent stuff in this episode. I think Chester needs to be written off as fast as you can say chunk.
They can't because they want him and Allegra to hook up.
Get rid of Allegra.
Oh yeah. Caitlin's finally moving on from Ronnie.
Yeah, but that was established last week.
I know, but I'm just saying.
But overall, there's a lot worth seeing in this, which is surprising. But some of the writing really falls. Like I said, in that scene with Allegra and Chester, she literally asks, "How do you feel about that?" They used the same damn line, pretty much word for word, last week.
Yep. So I gotta say though, when Barry uses his powers though, because the psychic lady of villains got him floating telekinesis in the air.
Yeah.
And the only way he can get out of it is by vibrating his volatiles to create a lightning bolt attack, and he just goes like Super Saiyan Goku and just lightning everywhere. And he punches down, he knocks her back.
Superhero landing.
Yep, yeah, pretty much.
Love it.
So, like I said, they're really trying to hype up his powers now and just get him back to being by himself. That's what I want. I want Barry versus the world.
And it might be soon. But it's
but,
always good to see
but
Creed.
I want to point out for next week's episode, the dude's back. The guy who does the time controls time. Their kid.
Oh, Dion.
Dion's back, and he's gonna help out.
I hate that you called them. I called him their kid, but
well, because that's the only way you're gonna remember. Because I don't know anything else about him other than he was a football player that got jaded.
We know, but overall, there's a lot worth seeing, which is surprising. It is surprising considering the state of last season, but hopefully that will continue on an upward path.
Yeah, they're gonna level up more.
They didn't say level up this time, but good on them for that.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that the reason he's very crazy because he's never. Because they ask a question: what happens if he can't release his lightning?
Powerful before. Oh,
hey, puppet, shut up! So basically, what they're saying is, what happens if Barry can't release his lightning and the lightning energy stays inside him? So they're trying to say that maybe that's why he went crazy and fried his brain. I'm gonna say I think Barry right now is able to see the multiverse.
Oh, the new multiverse, maybe.
Maybe he can see a version where Joe's alive and where Joe's dead. Maybe he's not even in his correct multiverse. Maybe, yeah.
That would be trippy. But
because he did charge up. You know, this is like he's never done before. You know, can you imagine him running to basically alternate Earths? Like, because he's currently doing that, and he's currently doing that in comic books right now. Barry ran to an alternate Earth.
With how his world seems to be falling apart. And how it's written to fall apart is kind of ridiculous, but that could explain why it's so ridiculous. But we'll have to wait and see. Overall, I think you can tell that we enjoyed some things about this. This isn't a case where it's just all bad all the time, which was last season, honestly. But I'm happy to see this for the Flash.
Yeah, this has been the first season I'm actually really enjoying since the first season.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how it goes from here. But we want to thank you so much for watching. We want to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts below. And also check out the Ko-Fi. We have more readings coming out soon. Just been a little busy on the puppet side of things. Next Sunday, we have stuff coming out. We should be reviewing Hawkeye from the Marvel. It is the newest show, and I've heard good things, and I'm excited.
It is okay in my book.
Well, we will see then. Thank you one last time before Froggy and I look at you fondly and say, bye!
Goodbye! See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Anita, Joe's
dead.